Yes, people. That's Wale's. The track is called Groundhog's Day. That's the music video accompanied with it. Actually, there's an extended version on the music video. That's what you just heard. You didn't see it. But yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you guys didn't, you guys should have understood the track. I mean, he's speaking English, number one. But pretty much he's going through with like kind of like his frustration. At first, the track was just answering J. Cole. Remember, J. Cole was like I got this one friend, and he's so bitter and he can't see his own blessings. He expounded upon that, but by kind of just really, kind of like giving a critique of the game, a critique of himself, and basically showing what it takes to win or what he considers to win. You get me? So, you know what I mean? If you gotta date a model bitch or if you gotta expose niggas, you get me? And like you could kind of hear him. It feels like he's kind of talking about all rappers in the game or calling out everybody in the game. I mean, even bloggers. I mean, shit. Like, there could be a line even on the joint associated to me. The nigga say, yo, these niggas who post all these colored hair rappers. You know what I mean? Yo, which hip-hop site or which hip-hop blog be talking about Lil Uzi and Lil Yachty? That's me, right? I mean, I can talk about more than just them, but they're definitely part of the conversation, right? Yeah, I mean, I like a track like that. I'm not going to lie. Like, I like when thoughts... And I told him, I said, hey, listen, bro. Because when he tweeted... Well, first of all, I went by some of his Instagram posts and his Twitter posts. Remember his Twitter posts like, man, fuck all this. They only care about you when you die, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I said, bro, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think you should save your thoughts for your songs. Because... Again, we had a disagreement, and I made a second video on it for you guys. I know I mentioned it in my video. I was like, he didn't like the fact that I mentioned in my video. I was like, yo, the thought about Wale online is that he's corny. He didn't like that. He was like, yo, what do you mean? Like, I'm like, yo, I haven't met you personally. Because he was like, yo, you've never met me personally. Like, how could you just come up with me? I'm corny. I'm like, yo, you're right. But to keep it real, I'm speaking for the millions of people on the internet, and I'm speaking about the general consensus, okay? And I told him, I said, listen, niggas call me corny all the time, man. That's fine, okay? They don't know me personally, but if I come across to them like that, it's fine. I'm like, you gotta. It is what it is. You can't change internet perception. But when I heard the I guess rest of this track or pretty much this thing, Wale, whatever he's saying sounds a lot better, man, when he doesn't tweet it. And that's what I was trying to tell him. I'm like, and actually, I think all rappers should do that. Stop getting on Twitter and letting out your thoughts, man. Like, you're not gifted to tweet. You're gifted to rap. And again, he could say the same thing with rapping that he says on Twitter, and he'll come off as clever, thoughtful, and possibly like even a rebel, but in a good way. As opposed to when you on Twitter, niggas just see you bitching. Because they look at everybody else. Kendrick don't tweet. J. Cole don't tweet. I mean, Tweet Millie, he was tweeting. But now he deleted his Instagram and he sent out, I counted. Meek Mill sent out 20 tweets in a year and a half. Like, goddamn. Like, you know what I mean? You can tell his Twitter fingers is cured. Okay? So when you think about all of that, there's no rapper really just having free... flow of consciousness or free streams of consciousness on Twitter. And again, part of this thing that I even said in the video is that some people think you're corny is because they see him on Twitter constantly like complaining. They see him on Twitter going back and forth with people, and they see him doing the things where a lot of people, and that's why I even referred to J. Cole. Like when you see a millionaire, like, yeah, everybody wants to be number one. But in the rap game where there's a million niggas trying to be rappers, right? And really only about, let's say, 200 of them that's really taking home at least 5 figures, right? You are very, and I'm talking about current ones. We know old niggas, they still get money. But you are very fortunate to be here. So when you see a millionaire tweeting and he seemed like not content with where he's at, you kind of want to just say to him, man, shut the fuck up and work, right? But again, the frustration behind it, it's legit. Like, the way he's rationalizing shit when he says it on the song, it's legit. But when you see him tweet it, you're like, shut up. I got to be honest with you. It's kind of like, shut up. That's just what it is. Chris Brown, new girl is bad. Well, actually, let me just finish this Wale point. In my honesty, or in all honesty, I think Wale has to just really recognize that he has a lane, he has a niche, but it's not what other niggas have. Okay? If you look to get the accolades that, and let's call names, right? Like, who's these niggas who's dating bitches for attention? Or they may not be dating bitches for attention, but they definitely date only high-delayed celebrity bitches, and it's usually highly publicized. We're talking about Drake. Meek has done it. I'm not sure if he did it deliberately, or maybe it was really his dream. Who else did it? Who else? Thank you for the donation, Kago. I'm going to read in a second. Drake has done it. Who else? Big Sean. Like Big Sean only date pop stars, right? Like, yo, what's up? Like, he only date non-black, like, real pop stars or some shit like that. Even though Jhené Aiko isn't really a pop star, but you get my flow. So, in that sense, yeah, I guess he's talking about those guys. Maybe not all of them, but he's just talking about the idea. And he doesn't seem like he's calling nobody out, like he's dissing them either, right? Also, who else he calls out? I guess he calls out like everybody. And again, I don't think he said nothing incorrect. But I think it's him as an artist, because, and salute to him, one of the last things he told me, and he told me that like a couple of times, he said, yo, I'm going to figure this shit out. And we kept talking, he's like, yo, I'm going to figure this shit out. And it's him figuring shit out. Like, you might be like, yo, you a veteran in the game, right? You a veteran in the game. You shouldn't have shit to figure out. But, yo, he's still figuring shit out, right? Like, yo, he's figuring out what's him. Because he told me, he's like, I'm a Nigerian, like, I was a Nigerian kid that really came, not that every rapper don't say they came from nothing, but he's like, it's just not in my nature to do some of these things, right? Because I was telling him, and just like I said on the video, I was like, yo, you could attain some of these things, but you got to do what some of these niggas are doing. Like, that's just simply what it is, right? Like, you got to ride a wave. You got to go do a song with the Migos. You got to go get on a song with Thug. Like, you got to go do these things if you're looking to be in that spot, right? Because that's what the people who are in that spot, which you might covet, not say you're jealous or you really, you don't want those people to be there, but like, you kind of see that attention and allure, you kind of want it. I'm like, you got to do that type of shit. And obviously, he's saying he's not going to do that, but he sees it happening. He's kind of calling it out, but it's also him trying to challenge himself to find his place. But that's the understanding I got of our conversation today. And again, I told him, and I'll probably tell him again, because I'm pretty sure he won't stay off Twitter. He got to do it in the booth. Do not, like, Twitter is not your friend, rappers. Twitter and Instagram, emotional posts, or it may not be emotional, but 140 characters is not good for you. 16 bars, that's your friend, okay? If you're a rapper, 16 bars is your friend, okay? Also, somebody says Wale, and I'm reading the comment. Somebody said Wale is a dumbass. He doesn't know what he wants. I think he does know what he wants. Like, he knows what he wants, but I don't think he feels he gets enough or his fair share. You get me? Like, I heard he made a mention before, and he was on the Breakfast Club, and he was like, I think he did something, and it was like, yo, I guarantee if the same thing was done by Drake, or it was even like J. Cole, he was like, if those brothers did it, and I think Charlamagne might have mentioned, or maybe I'm just imagining this part of the conversation, like, wait, are you trying to say, like, because you're like a dark-skinned brother or something like that? And he's like, yeah, kind of that, but not really, because he's like, if Kendrick did the same thing, he would get more recognition, right? Like, for whatever reason, Wale just isn't, he just doesn't get it. I feel like he sees when Cole drops an album and the support and, like, so many people, they give Cole the credit, like, yo, he went platinum, without a feature. yo, Cole is nice, Cole is nice, Cole is nice, Cole is nice, and it's like really a celebration of Cole, right? And here's another thing which he calls out, and again, he's not calling these people out directly, in my opinion, but he's calling out the things, right? He's saying that niggas are on Twitter and on Instagram complaining about politics and, like, I'm guessing Donald Trump, but are they doing anything? They complain on Twitter and everybody's like, yo, yeah. And by the way, I salute to T.I., but T.I.'s the latest one. A lot of, like, T.I. recently is so socially conscious. Like, he's an eloquent speaker now, and he's calling out everything that's egregious, facetious, and he is the most, come on now. All right. Basically, he's flexing his vocabulary any way he can. He showed up in a suit today. I was watching him on the Breakfast Club, and he's so socially conscious, calling out all the this, that, and third, and again, there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? So don't act like I'm saying there's nothing wrong with it. But again, it's always been this way with me. I remember I did a podcast with the Needle Drop, and salute to the Needle Drop. He's a YouTuber. He does reviews. I think mostly reviews. And the real concept or topic of the podcast, or a topic we did, was, do I feel these entertainers should do more? And it was yes. We did it around the time when Ferguson was a hot topic issue. And we saw Kendrick and Cole, and they were almost like political leaders. Like, their music, and you saw, they were showing images on CNN. J. Cole shows up to Ferguson. It was like, he's a rapper. Like, is this supposed to mean, like, is it like, what do you mean? But regardless, he's heralded and given a lot of credit for it. Now, there's nothing wrong with it, but I've always said, like, hey, all right, does this only stop with the rhymes? Like, do niggas do anything else? And I remember, which is weird enough, and I think this was after that time, there was something that happened. Was it Ferguson? Wale was the first to get down there. And Wale sat with kids in the inner city, had talks with them. He met up with some youth groups and had speeches read with them. I think he even prayed with them. Did a lot of stuff with them. Just on the name, come up, respect it. Sorry.
All three of y'all.
Just a lot of stuff on the ground, right?
I ain't gonna say it no more.
And he was just, it didn't get a lot of press. Like, nobody was like, yo, Wale came through. It just wasn't that. It was just, oh, that nigga there. You get me? But if it's Kendrick or it's Cole, it's like, whoa! You get me? So, when I hear him say that niggas say stuff on Twitter, and because I see, like, to be honest, the stuff that I saw him do, and again, I might not be in know, but it felt like Wale did more. You get me? It felt like Wale was there. And even, was it Baltimore? It might have been Baltimore. Wale did more than all these other entertainers, but he never got the credit. You know what I mean? I think these things get him salty. You feel me? He does get him salty. He's like, yo, these guys ain't doing what I'm doing. They don't care as much. And he's not, and again, I don't think he's calling out. I don't think he's calling out, like, anybody in particular, but he's just kind of making notice stuff. But anyway, that's Wale. That is Wale. You get me? I think Wale looks at his talent and be like, he should be the most heralded or respected, like, socially conscious rapper in some sense. And I don't think he feels he gets that. You get me? So he's going to battle that plight until he feels he gets the respect he deserves. Okay, anyway.